What's going on, guys? This is episode 27 in the Talking Sports podcast. Episode 4 of 6 for our MLB division previews. This week, we are talking about the NL East, the home of the reigning champions, the Atlanta Braves, and also the home of some interesting moves in this offseason, to say the least. But as always, we start at the bottom, work our way up. So first up is the Washington Nationals. It's crazy to think in 2019 they won the World Series.
And just 2 years later,
They're 65-97.
in bottom of the division.
Very drastic change of events for them. So as we just mentioned, 65-97 last year for the worst record in the NL East. Traded a lot of their guys away. Left with really only Juan Soto.
Yeah. Who's a great young, he's still young.
For sure.
Very young. He's only 22. Great young player who was a big part of them winning the World Series just 3 years ago.
Trey Turner traded in the middle of the season, along with Max Scherzer. Schwarber traded in the middle of the season. Yeah, it's insane. They still have a couple young guys. I'm pretty sure Victor Robles is still there. But really, him and Soto are your two guys that you're going to have to build around. They have a couple guys coming up in the system. Kia Boom is one of them. He's 23. Luis Garcia is 21. He looks to have an okay at bat. But looking at the pitching rotation, man, this was rough. Max Scherzer really the only guy there with 2.76 ERA while he was there.
And he's starting to get old, even though he's still good.
He's something. Patrick Corbin, 5.82 ERA. Eric Fetty, 5.47 ERA. Like we've been mentioning every episode, high ERAs tend to not be good.
Usually you're at the bottom of the division if you have the highest ERA, and I guarantee they probably have the highest overall.
It's pretty high. Yeah, we have to compare, but it's very high.
3 guys in your starting rotation over 5. Patrick Corbin is a 5.82. That's almost hitting 6.
Yeah,
that's very bad.
Tough. Very tough. It does bode well for them. They weren't the worst record. That was to Baltimore and Arizona, so they're all right. But yeah, it's definitely not something to be happy about if you're in DC and a national fan. Going 2 years ago, winning the World Series.
Right, yeah.
To now
being the worst.
Yeah. Start that rebuild. Anything you want to mention about last year for Washington? I didn't really.
I thought Juan Soto, we talked about how great of a young player he is. He hit 29 home runs, 95 RBIs, and he hit .313. So I'd say he had a pretty solid year, and that's who they're going to have to build around. Unless if they lose him, then I don't know where they go from here. But you would think they would try to keep him and build around him.
For sure. It looks like he had 145 walks, so he's very disciplined at the plate. Even if some of them are intentional, very good eyes.
And he played 151 games, so missed 11 games.
Very durable.
He played the whole season pretty much.
Right, so we'll move on to Miami now. They finished 4th. They've been kind of laughing stock of this NL East division for
a while now.
Ever since they rebranded, because they were Florida at once, and then they switched to Miami. So ever since kind of the rebrand, been kind of laughing stock. But Miami finished 67-95 last year. Looking at the roster, Jazz Chisholm was kind of one of the hot guys in the middle of the summer. I remember he hit a home run off DeGrom, and everyone lost their minds.
Yeah, that's when DeGrom was going crazy.
Yeah. So, they got the guy of the future with Jazz Chisholm.
Yeah.
Everyone else kind of older on their roster from last year. Brian Anderson, Oklahoma guy, he's 28. Starling Marte, 32. Adam Duvall, 32.
Yeah.
So
he's the youngest guy.
Yeah.
Chisholm is.
Yeah, real quick, interesting fact about Miami, they took a Mustang kid.
Yes, Dax Fulton.
Dax Fulton.
Yep. So I think he's in.
Probably.
He was high A.
Was he high A?
I think he got up to high A last season. I remember keeping up with him.
He'll probably end up double or triple this year.
Yeah, but he's a stud.
Very good pitcher. Which is something this team needs.
Yes, definitely.
Obviously, you have Sandy Aquitara, who's been their ace for a while now. He's only 25, which is insane because I feel like he's been in the league forever.
Lost 15 games.
Yeah. But he only had a 3.19 ERA.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of look at that one too.
Right.
Trevor Rogers, 2.64 ERA. They have a better ERA than Washington did.
Yeah, they do. No one's pushing almost 6.
Yeah, I mean, Pablo Lopez, 307. Zach Thompson, 324. Obviously, you could do a better fifth guy.
Yeah,
Jesus
he was-
Luzardo, 6'4".
Yeah, that's horrible.
Eliezer Hernandez had a 4.18. Edward Cabrera is a guy. No. Is it? I think it's Edward Cabrera, one of their top pitching prospects.
Oh yeah, coming up.
He's going to be a dude. So this team, if you can start building around Jazz Chisholm, you got the rotation. They're all under your they're all in contract under you for 6 years, basically. They can make some noise here in a year or two.
Yeah. And it kind of seems like, I mean, we're going to get to the Braves later, but it kind of seems like they're kind of starting to blow up, or I don't know what you want to call it, rebuild. I don't know what it is, but
Trading some prospects.
they're trading some prospects, trading some guys, and so it'll be interesting to see what this division is in the future.
For sure. Next up, we have the New York Mets. I gotta look at there. They finished 77-85 last year. This is a team that, on paper, they had a really good rotation. Obviously, you have DeGrom, probably arguably the best pitcher in baseball.
Right.
You had Stroman, who did okay last year. He had a 3.02 ERA. Taijuan Walker had a lot of hype coming into the year. Rich Hill, he's old. And then David Peterson had a 5.54 ERA.
DeGrom with the 108
Yeah.
ERA.
I just now saw that's insane.
Is that-
he only
I
played
think
in,
something's fishy going on there with.
No, he's just that good. He played in 15 games. In those 15 games, he had 146 strikeouts,
Wow.
which is tied for second most on this pitching rotation.
That's crazy.
The most is 158 for Marcus Stroman, who played in 33, so 18 more games. than DeGrom. And
That's
he only
insane.
had 12 more strikeouts, I believe.
That is very impressive.
DeGrom was a unit last year.
Yes, he was.
Until he got hurt. And, he's already 33. I didn't think he was that old.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
He is 33.
I did not think he was that old, but, we'll talk about him here in a minute, but they did add Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
So the rotation got a little bit better. But again, with this team, it's not really the rotation that was the problem. It was the offense.
Yes.
There's many 1-0 games that DeGrom lost in his tenure as a Met. There's also many 0-0 games that he got a no decision for in his tenure as a Met.
Right.
So, Pete Alonso, mentioned a couple years ago, he hit 52 home runs in 2019.
Right.
This year, he ended up with 37. Still a good number.
Didn't he win the Derby again? If I'm remembering right.
I don't know if he won it. I thought he might have.
I can't remember.
It's something like I paid attention to so much as a kid, and as I got older, I was
Right
like,
now it's like
yeah, cool.
yeah.
So, they need to do something offensively. Obviously, they traded for Francisco Lindor, who started off really, really bad this past
Yeah,
year.
he did.
He ended up with a 230 batting average, which is not normal Lindor. Maybe he has a bounce back this year. Maybe it was, the first real season since COVID. Everyone's getting used to things. I don't know. But you definitely needed him to have another Frankie Lindor year.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this team's lining up to be competitive in this division. But you never know.
I feel like they're definitely on the rise. As a couple years ago, the Mets, the old Mets, were a laughing stock, and now they made third place this year. Obviously, the World Series champs come from this division, so
Yes.
the top two teams, they're in a decently tough division up at the top. So you got to win a lot of games to win your division, and they went 77-85, which is below average,
Right.
obviously, but I definitely think they're on the come up, I guess. And like you said, adding Scherzer could help. Their rotation's not the problem. It's the offense, like you said.
That'll lead us to the Philadelphia Phillies. They went 82-80 last year. And ever since they had Bryce Harper, there's been a lot of hype around the team. They've always been a good organization throughout my lifetime. I think they ended up, I don't know if they won one in 08. I thought
They lost to the Yankees.
Okay.
Yeah, in
So-
09, I think. If I remember, I could be wrong. Though.
It's one of those two.
Yeah.
So I've been to one, but they haven't won one that I can remember. I might be wrong. But another Oklahoma guy, JT Romeuto. He's been the catcher for the last 5 years, just about. Rhys Hoskins. They have a really good team on paper again. Like, this starting nine is really good, especially Alec Boehm, young guy, 24 years old. He can hit for power.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper, obviously one
Obviously,
of the better
Bryce
players
Harper,
in the league. You look at the rotation, though. Zach Wheeler, a pleasant surprise last year, had a 2.78 ERA. Other than that, not too good.
Not good.
I mean, Aaron Nola is supposed to be the ace of this team. He went 4.63 ERA.
And went 9-9.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. So definitely need to look into pitchers if you're Philly. But instead of looking at pitchers, they looked at Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Speaking of what are we doing, which
Don't
we'll get
ask me.
into here 2 weeks from now, what is Colorado doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
So you have a good offense, you have a bad rotation. So what do? You go for more offense. surely
we've
the
seen,
offense wins.
The best teams have the best rotation,
Exactly.
the best bullpen. That's how you take that next step and win championships.
Yep. So, but we're obviously not running an MLB team. That's just our 2 cents. I think a lot of people agree with those.
Yeah.
But I definitely think they need to go after pitching. I mean, Scherzer was a free agent. I don't think they even put an offer out to him. Kershaw was a free agent. I don't think they put an offer out to him. There's guys out there that you can put an offer out. I don't think they did, though.
Right.
So they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot, and they might not even finish second this year. We'll see. But that leads with the reigning champion Atlanta Braves, who actually had the worst record among division winners last year, 88-73.
It kind of came out of nowhere, so it seemed
They
like
gelled right at the right time.
right when October came.
Acuna towards ACL in the middle of the year. At that moment, I'm like, well,
They're done.
next year.
Yeah.
Next year. They'll still make the playoffs, but next year's the year.
Yeah.
But was I wrong? Freeman played in all but 2 games. He had 31 home runs. Ozzie Albies played in 156 games. He had 30 home runs. Dansby Swanson took a step this year. He played 160 games, and he hit 27 home runs. And another guy who took a huge step, Austin Riley.
Yeah.
Played all but 2 games, 33 tanks, and he hit 303.
Yeah, that's really solid. You look at their lineup. They had 2 guys who hit 300. Obviously, Freddie Freeman, who's a great player, and definitely deserved that ring. He's a great player, great guy. But I look at Jorge Solaire. He got traded. Wasn't it halfway through the season?
Yeah, right. Trade deadline.
And I'm pretty sure he won MVP of the World Series.
I think so.
He just went on a tear during the postseason, and especially in the World Series. But another great player, Jorge Solaire, that they might be looking to trade. I've been hearing about. So who knows?
So one thing I want to point out: Ronald Acuna played 82 games. In those 82 games, he hit 24 home runs. He's on pace to hit right around 47, 48.
That's amazing.
Which, again, he was in the MVP talk until he tore his ACL. So he's back. At least in the videos we've seen on Twitter, he looks back.
I watched this team over the summer. I went to a game in Pittsburgh. They played the Pirates. They actually lost. They lost on a walk-off walk. The bases were loaded, and they walked.
That's like the worst walk-off you could
Pittsburgh
have.
won on a walk-off walk.
Lord.
But I'm pretty sure Acuna had gotten hurt right before the game. So I was like, man, I really want to see Acuna. But, it was cool to say, hey, I went and watched the team that ended up winning the World Series. So.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Looking at their rotation, by far the best in the division. Not great, but pretty good. Charlie Morton, the dude. He had a 3.34 ERA. Max Fried. How's that?
Yeah, I think it's Fried.
3.04 ERA. Ian Anderson, 3.58 ERA. Those 3 guys alone.
Drew Smiley.
Yeah, 4.
Pretty sure he was a former Ranger, if I remember correctly.
So.
Yeah.
And Noah had a 4.05 ERA. So really good rotation, 1 through 5.
3 guys with over 10 wins.
Yeah.
So that's pretty solid.
Very good rotation. Strikeouts, Morton had 216, leading the team. Pretty good, obviously you know why they won.
We've talked about it. You got to have a great pitching staff and bullpen if you want to win.
One guy we didn't mention was Jock Peterson.
Jock winning back-to-back titles.
Had a huge postseason that helped.
He did.
He only hit 7 home runs with the team, but he also only played 29 games with the team. So you kind of take that 7 home runs, 29 games.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Numbers.
very good.
So, obviously now the next part is talking about this year. Start a game with Washington. I still see them finishing last.
Yeah, I honestly don't see much changing. I mean, Miami and Washington are both towards the bottom. I feel like Miami has more prospects and more the likelihood of being better in the future. So I think you're right. I don't see Washington taking any big steps. I know it's frustrating for you Nationals fans, as 2 years ago you won the World Series, and now you're looking in your last place in the division. It's a quick turnaround, but be thankful you won a ring.
For sure. There's fan bases out here that haven't seen it yet.
Yes, it's sad.
I don't even think it'll be close. Them in last place by a long shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Washington definitely finished last.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, definitely.
That'll lead us to Miami, who, kind of depending on what Philly does, they could finish fourth, they could finish third. I don't have them finishing any higher than third, though.
Yeah, I definitely don't think they'll get above third.
I still think they finish fourth. I think they get just over 70 wins. I think, this team, they have the guys, they're just not there yet, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, I think in a couple years for sure, but this year I'm still thinking fourth, but just over 70 wins.
It's all about developing those young guys through your farm system and then getting them experience. And then, Marlins, this team could be dangerous in the future if they draft right and get these young prospects and stuff. I think you're right about the right around 70 wins. Again, last year they won 67, so still bottom half of the division.
Right. That leads us to the New York Mets, who beefed up the rotation.
Yeah.
Something that Philly needed to do.
Yes.
If and something that New York needed to do, Philly did. They need more offensive guys, in my opinion.
Exactly.
I agree. If you get a healthy DeGrom and Scherzer all year, I think this is the second place team strictly off the pitching rotation. Definitely think second place team strictly because of pitching. If you get some offense, they could make noise.
Yeah.
So they got the guys for the postseason.
Yeah.
Because you only go, I would say you go 3 guys in the playoffs and you'll be good.
Yeah.
They got 2 of them. Maybe Stroman's that third guy.
Right. Could be. Yeah.
So I definitely think DeGrom, Scherzer. DeGrom and Scherzer have another good year. I think the only thing holding this team back is the offense. So if Lindor has a good year, Alonso hits another 50 home runs, then we're talking about NL East division winners.
Yeah. They could take that next step. Like you said, adding Scherzer and beefing up their rotation, and that's where it all starts. Like we've said it 4 times this episode, but it's true because it actually matters.
Yes.
So I don't think the Mets will win the division this year, but I could definitely see them in that second place spot.
I think they'd be one of the wild card teams.
Yeah, I could see them sliding in the postseason with the expanded postseason that we have this year, more teams. So
next up is Philly. I see him taking a step back this year. You added more offense, but you didn't do anything pitching wise. Yeah. And you got a really decent division pitching with Atlanta and now New York.
Exactly.
I think they dropped down to third. I think they're probably right around 77 wins. I don't think I'd give a prediction on New York, but I got about 84, 85 wins probably.
All right.
But yeah, Philly, right around that 75 to 80 wins, finishing third in the division.
Yeah. I could see them winning 80 games again, maybe going to 81, maybe going 500, 81. But I think the Mets will be around that mid-80 win team. So I think Philly does drop to third. I agree with you on that. But we'll see. Thankfully, we have baseball coming up very soon, less than a month.
Yeah, literally. We have 2 more episodes of this, and then opening day is the day of the recording. So we're pumped about that.
Yes, that's going to be awesome.
It worked out perfectly. So
yes,
very, very, very excited. And lastly, that leaves us with the Atlanta Braves, the reigning World Series champions. You get a full year of Acuna, probably mid-90 win team, I think.
I agree.
I
Acuna's
mean,
one of the best players in the league.
They did lose Freeman, but they added Olsen. I don't
Yes.
think this is a team that's looking to the future. I think this is a team that's looking to right now.
Yeah.
Because we mentioned they traded away some top prospects, Pache and Shailene Lears, to Oakland for Matt Olson.
Yeah.
So they cut ties with Freeman. Freeman's up in the air about
And Freddie
where he's
Freeman was a great player, but I mean he's getting old. He probably doesn't have a whole lot of ball left.
Right.
So I think it was smart to make the move to get Olsen, who's a great player, coming from Oakland.
Yeah, I think they repeat as division champions. Probably about 95 wins.
I don't know if they make the next. I don't know if they repeat. Let me restate that. If they repeat as World Series champs, but I think with a healthy Acuna, this team could be really dangerous once again for sure. And that kind of came out of nowhere last year. Like everyone wrote him out when Acuna went down, but I think they can definitely be a hot team.
I mean, they still have a stacked offense.
Yes, and
Or
good.
stacked infield, I should say.
Yes.
Even the outfield.
Yes.
I mean, you got Olsen now at first, Albies at second, Swanson at third, Short, and
Solaire.
yeah, so they're
In the outfield. I
right.
think it's
Was it
Solaire in the
Riley?
outfield.
Yeah, Riley
Yeah,
at third.
yeah.
So very good core, and as long as the pitching keeps up, very very dangerous team, especially in the playoffs.
Will they keep Jorge Solaire? Will they? What else are they gonna do?
It is a universal DH now.
Yes, that's
So
true.
That
true.
kind of gives them the
Yeah.
option to keep
Yeah,
him.
that is true.
So I could see him keep him. That about wraps up that part of this episode. Now we're going to talk about a huge name that's still out there in the free agency that to this point has not made a decision. Freddie Freeman, the reigning first base champion, first baseman of the World Series, Atlanta Braves. Yankees took themselves out of the running today, so it's down to Toronto, Tampa, and Boston. Sorry, Toronto's not in there. It's Boston, Tampa, and LA.
Yeah.
Which is insane to think about that LA still has money for everything.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Paying everybody everything. They still have room somehow. So, obviously, being a Boston fan, I hope he comes to Boston, especially for this year, because we don't have a solidified veteran first baseman.
Right.
So, I would love to see him in Boston. Kind of the wild card here is Tampa.
Yeah.
They don't make many free agent moves.
That's true.
You know, they're usually building from within, but if they make a splash, they become even better.
And we talked about how great of a season they had last year, and then kind of just fell off once they got in the postseason. A couple weeks ago when we talked about the AL East, but that could be interesting if you went to Tampa.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It changed the whole dynamic of the AL East, really,
Definitely.
because now you have Tampa willing to spend some money.
Yeah.
And then obviously the team that no one wants to see him go to is the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Dude, just stop. Stop. You have everybody. You literally had Scherzer, Trey Turner last year from Washington. You get rid of Scherzer, but you keep Turner. You still have Kershaw. You have Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger. Stop.
Thank you for giving us Corey Seager.
You lost Seager, but you still have Turner.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah. They're crazy.
Win with what you
They're
have. You
crazy.
still have Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Stop. For real, just let it go, dude.
Crazy to think they've only won one
Yeah.
with this
And they've
crazy stacked
been
team.
3 times?
Yeah. Well, they lost to cheaters twice. Did they
Once.
lose to
Once.
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 That's right.
They got manhandled by Boston. the second
That's
time.
right. You're that's right. That's right.
They lost to Houston, you got manhandled by Boston,
Yeah.
and they beat Tampa,
Yeah. Beat Tampa.
which they should have lost to Tampa. Tampa's kind of like Gonzaga.
Can't get over the hump.
They can never win the big
Yeah.
one.
They're always that good in the regular
They're always
season,
the-
and then
Team that doesn't win the big one, but you know, I obviously like Tampa more than I like Gonzaga,
yeah.
which is weird since I'm a Boston fan. They're kind of my I guess they're my side team.
Yeah.
Kind of like
I got you.
if they're not playing Boston, I like
Yeah.
to see them win.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Yankees.
A team you
are
don't despise.
Yeah, not like the Yankees.
Yeah.
Speaking of the AL East, kind of getting off topic, Toronto has made some moves.
Yes, they have made a bunch.
Toronto
of
has
moves,
made some moves. They pick up Matt Chapman from the Oakland Athletics, who is just blowing up their system right now. So our previous 3 episodes are crap.
Yeah, they really
Because of
are.
what
All
has
of our
happened
predictions and
this week alone.
everything is changing.
Thanks, Lockout.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I guess run down those real quick. Does anything change in your standpoint on the AL East? Keep in mind that New York traded away Torres and Gary Sanchez. They picked up Josh Donaldson.
They re-signed Rizzo.
Yeah.
I think Josh Donaldson's kind of washed.
I think Rizzo's kind of washed.
Yeah, no, I agree with Rizzo's washed too.
I think that.
I don't think the Yankees take the next step.
No.
We both agree they're
Yeah.
third in the division.
I'd say fourth now.
Third and fourth.
Fourth, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Donaldson and Rizzo were very good in their prime, but
Yes.
they're also early to mid-30s.
Right.
Rizzo's had some back issues late. Donaldson kind of not what he was. It's kind of the Yankee motto, though, right? Signing
the big names and then
then
busting.
Jacoby Ellsbury, prime example.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I still got New York finishing fourth.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's hard for me to say Boston finishes second anymore because they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Toronto,
I think Toronto
easily second, maybe even first, depending.
It'll come down to Toronto and Tampa, right?
It comes down to where Freeman goes.
Yeah, no,
If
yeah.
Freeman goes to Tampa, it's Tampa.
Yeah.
If Freeman goes to Boston, it's still Toronto, I think.
I think that's a good way to look at it.
Which is crazy.
Freeman could be a really nice piece for either of those teams, and having experience, obviously coming off a World Series win. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes, if he goes to AL East, which team.
You know, if Freeman, I don't think they're in the sweepstakes, but if Freeman did end up at Toronto, that puts Vladdy at DH. Because you got Chapman at third, Freeman at first. That's two Gold Glovers.
That's scary.
On the dime,
That's
on
scary.
the corners.
That's scary.
Well, good thing they're not in it, I don't think. So.
Yeah.
Who knows?
No, yeah, I don't think Toronto.
Nothing really happened in the Central besides Minnesota trading everybody away. Cleveland started trading people away too.
The Yankees got kind of Falefa.
I saw it right after the day after he got traded.
After he got traded to the Twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which that was sad that we lost Kiner Falefa.
Moving on to the West, there's still a really couple big name free agents out there. Carlos Correa talks about he might sign a 1-year deal with Houston because of his agent situation. If he signs a 1 year, the money goes back to his previous agent. If he signs a max deal, the money still goes back to his previous agent. So this new agent obviously wants the money.
Right.
He's encouraging him to sign a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Then sign your max next year. Which I get it. I'd be like that if I was agent too.
Yeah, exactly.
So that kind of sets up Houston to sign him for a 1-year deal.
And it probably will happen.
Which we never thought he'd go back.
No, we both were saying that we thought he was gone.
Yeah. Be interesting. So he
And
might sign a 1-year
Rangers
deal.
haven't done a whole lot.
Yeah, it's like that.
After losing Kiner Falefa, I was thinking.
Oh gosh.
After losing Kiner Falefa, I was thinking we go sign a big time third baseman like Chris Bryant or something.
Story's still out there.
Yeah, Story. We could go get Story.
Do you want to make an appearance? Okay. Bring her here. Bring the birthday girl here. She'll get on. She'll get on the episode. Tess, what is your opinion on the NL East division? What is your opinion on the NL East division?
NL East.
Well,
Great take.
perfect take.
Love it.
I think
Love it.
I think we both agree with that take. DeGrom,
I think you're
very
right.
good pitcher.
Yeah.
We both agree. Where does Carlos Correa end up at? Okay.
All right.
So, she said we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, so Trevor Story's still out there. Chris Bryant, we mentioned a little bit earlier. Colorado, what are they doing?
I know, man.
What?
Like,
So they
what?
trade Arenado.
Yeah.
They didn't re-sign Story yet. Maybe that's the piece to re-sign Story. But then why do you trade Arenado?
That doesn't make any sense.
I feel like Arenado's better defensively. Don't you agree? Yeah. I mean, Bryant was really good with Chicago.
He was.
And he was really good last year with San Francisco. But I just don't understand the thought process between both Bryant and Colorado.
Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, I kind of see it because of stats in the Mile High.
Right. Yeah.
But you're not going to win another World Series there.
And then they trade away Arenado, like you said.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what Colorado's doing. Which I'm friends with a couple of Mariner people on Twitter. and they were in the running for Bryant.
Oh, really?
But they're both really happy that they didn't make that contract with Bryant. That's
No,
a very big contract.
That contract, yeah.
Very insane amount of money going
Yeah.
towards Chris Bryant, who's late
Getting
20s,
old.
early 30s.
Yeah.
He's somewhere up there. So
I mean, they won the World Series 6 years ago?
16, I think.
It's
Yeah.
already been 6 years since that. That's crazy. And that's when they were.
It might
Chris
have been
Bryant
17,
was incredible.
very good. Yeah, because that was the Bryant, Baez, Russell,
Yeah.
Rizzo, Contreras.
That team was really good.
That team was stacked. Schwarber was part of that team.
Yes. That team was so good.
So yeah, there's still a lot of free agent dominoes to happen, and we're 20-something days away
Yeah.
from opening day.
It's gonna be awesome.
Just over, I think 3 weeks from tomorrow is opening day.
That sounds right.
So yeah, that was part 4 of 6. Tell 'em. Part 4 of 6 in the MLB division.
Like, comment, and
previews.
subscribe, right?
Do it for the baby.
Yeah.
Who just turned a year old while recording this video. Happy birthday to me. Alright. See y'all next week.